Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to another installment in the N-scale railroad build in my new workshop. If you're watching last time, you will have seen me get the upper helix almost complete. For this installment, I'm going to start on the upper level benchwork, specifically the area around the top of the helix. Such framing is always pretty complex, and although this area was not as troublesome as the two on the Q&R and Scenic Valley that you saw me build last year, there were still a few potential pitfalls to have to avoid. So without further ado, let's just head out into the workshop and get busy. Well, here you can see the method of mounting the upper deck to the double-sided backdrop. Earlier I showed you these posts. It's just a double post of 3/4 inch plywood, 4 inches wide. And then we have also a double beam, this time only 3.5 inches high, and the two splice plates make up the jaws to hold it in place. All the joints are full of glue, and I'm going to put some screws in there now, but I just needed to make sure that it was perfectly level before I positioned it finally. And then this is on the border between the two frames either side of it, and those will just be bolted to the sides of the cantilever beam. So let me continue, and I'll be right back. Well, here is the method of getting the end frame in the right place. This scrap of wood here was just screwed to it. Allows me to slide it on top of the cross beam, and I just clamp it in place. The level is clamped to the lower fascia, making sure that it's plumb, and remember to leave a gap just big enough to insert a scrap of 1/8 inch masonite to allow for the upper fascia. The end frame has to be a deep one because the front stringer will be down in front of the helix at the right height to hold the bottom of the fascia, while the rear one has to bridge over the helix, so it'll be significantly higher. Anyway, now that I have clamped it in place and drawn a line on it just in case I have to take it out and put it back, I can get rid of the level and know that it will be in the right place. So let me get on with building the rest of this frame, and I'll check in with you later. Don't go away. Well, I got both of the end frames built for this section and also the shelf that it sits on. And I was just working on the back piece that goes up and over the helix, and then I realized that I can't install it yet because the next level up is not only going to be higher, well, I knew about that, but it's also got to be further towards the back. So I can't put a 4-inch wide strip up here like I was going to. It's going to have to be somewhat narrower, but I don't know how wide it can be just yet. So I am going to get the next bit of sub-road bed just hanging in space in the right place so I can work around it. So let me get on with that, and I'll be right back. Well, I now have this piece of sub-road bed in at the top of the helix. The wide part here allows plenty of space for a switch machine. Not quite sure exactly where it needs to be, which is why I've made it bigger than it needs to be. That part along the back is already permanently attached to the end frame. This leg will come out once I get this joined up to this corner. And then the front is just a straightforward 3.5 inch wide strip at the bottom with the ends cut at a 7.5 degree angle. I'm going to go in, get some lunch now, and continue when I get back out. Don't go away. Well, to avoid any possible problems with access later, I decided to remove this partial frame and get the top lap of track installed on the helix. Now I'm just going to put the frame back and continue where I left off. Don't go away. Well, that is most of that section framed up. I had to do everything in situ because of the complexity of the fit. There's no glue in here or in the other one, but I have a screw at the top, screw at the bottom, and with those two gusset plates, this frame and the helix will both help to support each other. I'm still missing a support in here, and I'll need one more in here as well, but I can't really do much more at the moment because I need to build the next frame first, get the top of the grade in the right place, and then work back from there with the branch line that climbs over the top of the helix and bridges over the main line here to go round to the mine off in this corner. Anyway, I don't have any more wood, so this frame will be a project for another day. I'm going to use the remainder of the time that I have today to do a little bit more track work. I'm going to put the last 3 pairs of feeders for the helix, this turnout, and put the track as far as this benchwork joint here. There needs to be an insulated rail joiner here because this is the start of a new power district. So let me do all that and I'll be right back. Don't go away. Well, that is the top lap of the helix wired up and tested. The power comes as far as here. I haven't yet put a pair of feeders in on this first piece of track on the top level because I don't know what colour the customer wants me to use. I also have not yet put a piece of track in here because this might be a power district boundary as well. I know the client has asked me to add more than I would normally because he does run a few direct current locomotives, so he needs to have more blocks that he can isolate. So I will find out from the customer whether he wants the upper helix on a different power district to the upper canyon scene. Anyway, I think this has been a reasonable day's work. I'm going to go in now. I'll check in with you tomorrow. Don't go away. Well, that's all for this instalment. Hope you enjoyed the show and found it useful or interesting, or both. Next time I will continue where I left off and continue with the upper level benchwork. Now that the complex area above the helix is done, it should go a lot faster. So in the meantime, thanks for watching and bye for now.